Alright, bass heads. It's me again, OG Sodda Pop Kid. I did a video earlier, alright, showing my trophies and all my wins. Some of y'all might have seen the video a couple times, but every time I get new trophies, man, you know, I add to the collection, it just gets bigger. So I'll just record it again. But I just came back from a bass run again, getting some bass therapy. Alright, I did it 2 days in a row. It's kind of toasty out there too, just to let y'all know. It's about 86 degrees, it's hot. And I was driving around. And before I get to how these amps performed, I'm going to say this first and then I'll get to that. Okay, the one subject. Once again, to all you new jacks in the car audio game. Alright, you newcomers, you newbies, you young bucks. Especially you guys that don't build your own systems, okay? You pay to get your stuff built, a whole full install, box build, everything. You know what I mean? Radio put in, 0 gauge wire ran, ring terminals put on them, amps connected, you know what I mean? Box put in, box mounted, you know, especially something like I have, okay? When you get the walls done, the 4th order band passes, all that wood, screws, glue, caulking, expander foam, fiberglass resin, all the sound deadener that you get in there, and all of that stuff costs money, man. All right, and you'll see a lot of these guys, or you might have seen some cars. They have a decal on it that says built, not bought. That means they built it themselves. They put the work in. And it makes you proud that you built it yourself. You crafted it yourself. You know, set all your games yourself. You do everything yourself. And then when you get in the lanes and you win, it makes you feel good that you built your own system and somebody did not build it for you, okay? And that you put the work in, because I know a lot of new bass heads that never built their own system. Somebody else built it for them. You know what I mean? And they're doing big, high numbers from someone else's work, man. And they're rolling around here proud because they're hitting these numbers. You don't got no room to talk down on anybody because you did not build that yourself. Yeah, you might have spent the money on it, or you might have spent the money on all the equipment. You might have spent the money to let someone do it for you, but you didn't do it yourself. You know what I mean? So bragging about your numbers and all of that, that don't count to me. I mean, maybe it counts to someone else, but not to me. You know what I mean? Built, not bought. And I explained to y'all the video before the last one how I couldn't build my own at first, but I wasn't competing. And it was like, you know, basic fundamental stereo systems. And less than a year later, I started learning on my own how to build. Trial and error. Didn't go to school for it or nothing. You know what I mean? So I feel good when I build my own, and then I get in those lanes and I do good. Okay? That's what I wanted you to know. And these audio shops and mechanics nowadays, the prices. Okay? From what I understand, some of them's $100 per hour. Some may be more than that. Wow, let me go back. Some like 8 or 9 years ago, I know some audio shops that was charging $95 an hour back then. There's no telling what they're charging now. I mean, that's to put in an alarm, that's to put a regular head unit in. You know, $95 an hour. The last mechanic I went to get welding done, he was $100 an hour. And then I ended up paying him $150 to $200 each time I went to him with that $100 an hour. Okay, now, everybody's not like that. Now, I used to build for cats, you know what I mean, around here. And I got disenchanted with it. I backed away from it. Because I was getting people that wanted a $5,000 stereo system for only $500. And I'm talking about all the equipment and installation. I was slaving over some people's stereos, man, like climbing under the car, drilling holes through the floor, running wire, putting ring terminals on, building the box, putting the box in the car, mounting the box, setting the amplifiers, laying the amps down, mounting them down, everything. And cats was like real cheap. A couple of cats actually ended up rubbing me the wrong way. You know what I mean? After they got their stuff done, they had little itty bitty complaints like their kids was messing with their potentiometers on their amps in the back, you know, turning them up and down, just messing with them. And they come running back to me to reset them and didn't want to pay for it. And felt since they gave me that little bit of money that I ought to reset their amps for free. There's some cats that I built their stuff in the car or truck, and when they were tired of it, they wanted me to disassemble everything for free. I was like, nah, man, it costs for me to take everything out as well. That's not free. You know what I mean? Some cats was out there balling too. Cheap ass dudes, man. Cheap. You know what I mean? I ran into a problem with a female that, I think I told this story before, and it's a long story, so I'm going to cut it short. This female had the nerves to call me up and say, I want this, 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 and this, and I only want to pay $400. I had some words for her, man. And then she told me, oh, I went to Audio Communications and they were going to sell me one sub in a box for $400. I was like, that's before installation. That's before all the wires and ring terminals you need. That's before taxes and all that. By the time they got done with you, it would have been $1,000. Who the hell do you think you're talking to? Thought I was a dummy. I was like, I don't even know why you're coming to me to even help you if you think I'm that dumb. Okay. So, and then I tallied up some stuff. You know, I went in that wholesale house and brought a bunch of Q Power stuff. Had some, you know, wire and fuse holders and fuses up in my attic. And you know, and I went and I came up with a way to do it for, and you know, I installed it, climbed under the car, did all of that just to try to make this female happy. She left happy. 6 months later, her boyfriend approached me with, you effed up my girl's car because some mechanic said you messed the gas tank up. I was like, I never touched the gas tank, bro. The gas tank is not a part of a stereo system. I was nowhere near that gas tank, man. So why don't me and you get in the car, take a ride, and go up to this mechanic so he can tell me that I messed up the gas tank because they don't know what they're talking about. Then he had a whole different attitude then. He didn't want to get in the car and go up to the mechanic. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, man. Stuff like that. One dude brought some amps off of my boy Curtis back when the Sharks was out. Curtis actually sold those Sharks for like $100 a piece. Okay? I had already installed a system in this dude's car, built him a box for 2 kicker competitions. You know, the square kickers. He was happy, you know what I mean, that he wanted those amps. I installed them, and then they wouldn't turn off for some reason. They wouldn't turn off even after you powered them down. And they drained his battery in the middle of the winter. Guess who he called at 6 in the morning talking about I need a jump. I was like, for what? My amps wouldn't turn off, they drained the battery. That's not my problem. Well, you sold them to me, no. I sold them for my boy. And I installed them for you, bro, for free. That's not my problem that they didn't turn off. And he went on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I couldn't go to work, I had to miss work, yada, yada, yada. You know what? I went and I gave him a jump, and I pretty much told him, I'm not building for you again. You got that stuff for less than nothing, man. So, if I build for the last box I built was like 1.5 years ago for this guy. And I didn't want to do it, but I did it, and I charged him $400, man. He kept adding stuff on. I want it painted purple. I want this, I want that. I was like, I am not installing this box. If I install it, or even help you install it, you will pay me more. I ended up helping him install it. You know what I mean? The whole nine, I was like, and I started on this dude's box at 8 in the morning. I was on this box till 11 something at night because he had brought some HD 15s. But then the new HD 15s came out and the whole entire cutout was different. The specs did not come with the sub. I had to, see now I got one of them calibers now where I can measure the sub and it'll tell me what the cutouts are now. But then I didn't have one. So I was cutting all this wood trying to find out what the cutout was. So he had one HD that was old and a newer HD that was a different cutout. So that made the build a whole lot longer, you know what I mean? And then when it got down to it, I was like, yo, man, I've been on this doggone thing all day. He was like, well, you're the one that only charged $400, never again. And if I do decide to do it, I will charge you. Way more than some $400. I don't care who you run to. I don't care what name you bring up, let you go under them. If you go to an audio shop, they want $100 an hour. So let me tell you this little story real quick. Back when I went to this church I went to some years ago, there was this young kid, right? And his dad was about to sell him his pickup. It was a dual cab. And they all knew I was loud at that church because I would take my car there whenever it was time to leave. I would crank it up. I remember the pastor sat in it and got a demo. Okay, so the kid wanted a stereo system in the truck. So he came to me. And this is when I was using Mofos and SPL amps. So he was like, his parents was like, how much would a stereo system be to put in his car? I was like, build the box and everything? Yeah. All right, so I looked at the truck, said, I'll throw two 15s in here, just slam, firing upward. All right, so I planned it out, the equipment and all, and I came back to them and gave them a price. This is how much the amps is going to cost, the subs are going to cost for me to build the box, paint the box, take his door off, take his seats out, install it, run the wire under it. I went and got an alternator for Mike Singer for him. He needs a better battery, radio, yada, yada, yada. And they thought that I was trying to get over on them. So they went through Amazon and bought all the equipment. They tried to be slick. And then when I asked, he's like, we got it all off Amazon. And then they went to Audio Communications to try to get it installed. See, they went over my head. They thought I was trying to get over on them. And when they went to Audio Communications, they wanted them to install everything, including build him a box. Well, they said we charge $95 an hour. By the time they got done tallying up everything, it was $3,000 just to install and build him a box. They came running back to me. Came to church, leaning on the counters, looking down at the floor, all sad with the sad eyebrows. And you know what? I didn't hold back on them either. I was like, man, y'all thought I was trying to get over on y'all, and y'all got real two-faced. And y'all went up there, and now you found out what's really real. What it really costs, $95 an hour. Now y'all back in my face. Oh, they're apologizing. We're so sorry. It's like, I bet y'all are. Well, how much? I was like, okay, I should tax you. I should just charge like just a little bit less than what they. I should just knock $500 off and knock y'all heads off. So I gave him a price. I said, I'm going to give you a price again. So I gave him a price, and I spent 14 straight hours. I said, your son's going to need to be there with me to assist me in carrying the box and getting the door off and doing this, getting the seats out, doing this and doing that. He will assist me. Sure. 14 straight hours, man. I built the box, painted the box, let it dry, took the door off, took the seats out, ran wire into the car, drilled holes under through the floor, connected, did everything. Boom, dude was happy, going to school, showing off, pounding on his way to high school. He was still in high school. You know what I mean? So, going through stuff like that, I was like, man, it's not even worth it with the cats around here because they're cheap. They're El Cheapos. They're very cheap. And a couple years ago on social media, this guy had got somebody, this building guy, to build him a system. When he got done with his system, he was doing 163s. Dude immediately jumped on social media, running his mouth. If you're not doing 163s, you're not loud. And all that nonsense they used to say. And the dude that built it stopped him. He was like, yo, man, don't say that, man. Don't get up on social media saying nothing like that, man. Erase that post, yada, 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 man. People will come at you, man. You didn't build it, and yada, yada. He's like, they'll tear you up on here. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I'm glad he took that down, because I would have went at him. I was like, you didn't build it, first of all. And you don't come up telling people they're not loud because they're not getting your numbers that somebody else built. Now all of a sudden you're bragging about something that you did not build. You did not enter a contest. You probably would have got in it and won you some awards and all that, but you did not earn that at all. For some of you guys that like to brag when somebody else built your system, you did not build it. You did not build it. You didn't put your hands in it. You didn't go through nothing. You didn't see what it was like to only do 140s and try to get a 150, and it takes you years to get a 150, and it takes you years to get a 151, and it takes you years, and you struggle, and you get confused, and you end up quitting. I even had some teammates that joined our team that didn't actually build at first, and they didn't know what it was like to struggle technically. Some of them came in and got help from us, and they was doing high numbers like 55s and 56s immediately, and they still wasn't happy. They still wasn't happy, man. They was walking around the darn thing, putting their ear to it, and I want to be loud. They wanted to do just what we were doing, what we struggled to do. They wanted to do that immediately. Immediately. Okay. So I'm done with that. I know a lot of you went through that. You can put your comments up about that. Now, let me get to the good part. These things get down, bro. I want y'all to know, any user, you that might be using the regular Bravos, I almost got those too. I almost got the regular Stetsom Bravos. I would have got them as well. A real reliable source on where I actually got these told me that there's guys that's doing 9,000 or over 9K at 1 ohm and at half ohm with these, because these are smart amps, so they're made to be able to detect 1 ohm and half ohm and detect box rise and all of that. You know what I mean? And they do a certain wattage at a half ohm and certain wattage at 1 ohm, yada, yada, yada. And he said there was a couple of guys that's gotten over 9,000 watts. Not that I will get over 9,000 watts because they got over 9,000 watts. These will be clamped and tested at state finals. I will have them clamp and test these because I'm curious, and a few other guys have asked me that are curious and want to see what I'm going to clamp out of these and what numbers I am going to get out of these, and what numbers I'm going to get burping is controversial because of what subs I am using, not my box. For you guys that think you build boxes better than me, why don't you try getting better? Not better than someone. Why don't you try getting better at what you do? When it comes to the pop locking, dancing, engineering, cutting hair, sniffing ass, if you're entering worldwide ass sniffing competitions, why don't you just try getting better? Not I want to be better than so-and-so, because if you do surpass so-and-so, then where do you go? Then what? What do you get for that? Nothing. If you surpass somebody that you want to be better than, you get nothing. You understand? I never strive to be better than someone. I strive to get better, to beat my own scores. The only one that can beat me is me. That's it. I strive to just move up. I strive to move up, man. I want to be better than him, better than her, better than Shim, better than Kim. You know what I mean? Y'all need some stuff to learn, man. I need to teach you. Teach you. I will teach you even if I have to teach at you, like a drill sergeant. I will teach at you. Get you all mad and upset and won't care. Because there's too many critics out there, dude. Try getting better at what you're doing. All right? I don't know what numbers I'm going to get, because I explained to y'all that them subs are street beating subs. They're not really meant for SPL, but hopefully I get past the 60.94 like I did, because the 60.94 ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. That's ass. Considering cats that never got past the 150, if they even got a 150. You know, critics, they know it all. They're scrutinizing guys that's doing over a 60. Scrutinizing me like, you ain't doing good enough. You're not impressing us. Who the hell are you? So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just hoping for the best, but I know those speakers, I was like caught in a rock and a hard place. Like I said, if I would have got what I was going to get, yeah, them speakers would have did the thing. Those and these amps would have went hand in hand. But come after the season, you know, as fast as I bought them X-Max monsters, I'll sell them and then move on, because I got a couple of ideas, even if I have to move forward. I was having a long talk with somebody about possibly just moving forward, man. Maybe I might have to try another brand. Maybe. You know what I mean? So I've been talking, you know, man, and networking and stuff like that, bro, because it's about time. You know, next year I'm going to go hard. I'm going to go hard for the last time, unless something big happens and I can't help myself. Unless a miracle happens and I get blessed. You know what I mean? Then I may keep going, like a bigger house and, you know, another vehicle and a bigger vehicle and yada, yada, yada. I won't be able to help myself then. But I'm talking about going hard next season. You know what I mean? For the last time. And for all you guys that are supporting me, man, like I said before, I thank y'all, man. Thanks for all the support, you know, with all my supporters and all my followers, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all, a lot of y'all keep me going. You know what I mean? Encouraging me to keep going, man. I appreciate that, and I encourage people back. There's a lot of guys that reach out to me on Messenger and ask me questions, and I don't diss them and talk down at them or none of that. I try to help them because I know what it's like to have ran budget equipment. I'm one of the big guys, and a lot of y'all know that, that's ran budget equipment, and y'all been following me ever since I did 155.4s with 4 Mofo 15s and Shark amps. A sealed outlaw, which means the car was closed, windows up, doors shut, meter on the glass. Well, I guess in the kick, as long as the car is all shut and all the windows up, it's still outlaw. But sealed outlaw, on the windshield, I did a 154.8 with the Mofos. And ever since then, people started following me. You know what I mean? I ain't got millions of followers yet or none of that, but you know, I got people to follow me and they respect my bills and they watch what I do and they just respect it. They don't come on, you know what I mean, and then bashers will come on and say wild stuff like, man, you're doing 61,000 watts. Shouldn't you be doing 170s? I would have thought like that too. Before I started gaining knowledge, I would have thought that same way. You should be doing this because of this. It's just common sense, or it's just common thought that you should be doing this. Like your ass should be smelling like all kinds of roses when you come out of the damn shower. But sorry to say, some of y'all's ass stink 24 hours, 7 days a week, all day and day, every month, day, year, no matter what the hell you shove up there. So I don't know, but common sense says you should come out smelling fresh until you let that first fart. Then it's over. I mean, that's just common sense. You know what I mean? But it's not like that. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. There's some guys that I look up to. There's some of them I don't tell that I look up to them because a few of them, their heads are big enough, man. They can't even fit in this damn garage. But there's some guys that I know that, especially the guys that are trying to beat, I can't pronounce his name. It's doing 186s, and there's Burt guys that's trying to get that score. They're trying to get him. And when Alan Dante was doing a 184 out of Brazil, the Burper guys was trying to get that score. And they was testing and building and testing and shrinking and testing and moving the speaker in another direction and and then testing and testing and testing and testing and testing and testing and testing. 172 didn't get there yet. 174. Oh, we're moving up. 175. Freeze. And test and test and test and test. And that's what it takes, man. Test and test and test and test and test and test. I get that from my man Joe Alt Sr. You know, back when I was trying to reach a 160, when I got over my 50s, when I got a 150 with 4 Mofo 12s and 2 amps, and this was at the 2010 Mecca World Finals I went to, and I did my first 150 at World Finals. It was a 150.2. And all the judges knew for years I was trying to get a 50. All they heard me talking about was a 50, 50, 50. When I finally did it, they took and they turned the whole screen around to me. And they gave me this look like, there you go. I was going to retire from competing once I got a 150. But you know what? There were certain guys who was like, no, you're not going to retire, Sodda. You're going to want a 155. I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And they were right. As my score started moving up, I went from a 150.2 to a 150.7 to a 151.7 to a 153.1 to a 153.7 to the 154.8 and 55s, all with mofos and SPLs and sharks and all these amps. The cats were laughing at me and brand bashing me over social media, and I was getting into arguments to the point that I was threatening some guys that if I caught them at World Finals, what was going to happen to them? If I caught them at World Finals, man. It got that bad. They wouldn't shut up. They wouldn't shut up. I remember when I first tried the American-based HDs, it was 318s. And I got them from the wholesale house before I even started talking to Bob. And I put 2 Shark 2500s on each one, strapped. I didn't strap them. I put per coil at first because at this point, I heard about strapping amplifiers, but I would never do it because I didn't trust it. Just like there was a point in time where I would never run an amp at a half ohm because I did not trust it. But when I was with Team Livewire, they talked me in, Eric Alexander especially, into running the amp at a half ohm to fight box rise. I didn't even understand what box rise meant. Okay, and they explained all this to me, and when I did it, my scores did go up, the wattage did go up, and from then on in, I always ran half ohm. Okay. Yeah, I'd get into arguments with guys and the whole nine. So I got these 318s, and I was running a Shark per coil. When I found out how good them Sharks was, and that they really could do 2,000 watts, really, on lead acid batteries, because I did it. Thank you. I was doing 16,000 watts with 8 of them, continual, on lead acid batteries with the car shut completely off. Do y'all understand me? All right. So I had hurt one of them. The speakers, the coil, started getting coil rub. Well, I was beating on the subs and didn't break in the subs, and I never had to break in the mofos. I never had to break them in. I always would just throw them in and go berserk on them and never hurt them. But this time I hurt an HD. They were out of HDs. Bob was out of them, and so was the wholesale house. Now I was stuck in a rock and a hard place. I was trying to get out of the 53s then. I was trying to get out of the 53s at this time. I had a wall with a top port. I got pictures of it. I've showed pictures of that build. Okay, now I had got the audio pipe 18s at first because they had just came back out with 18s and nobody really knew about it. And I had the D2s. When I got the HDs, I got the D1s. They didn't make the audio pipe in D1s. I got the audio pipes first, drove around listening to them. I liked them. And then one of my teammates, Don Ward, got the HDs, and he hit me up. He was like, hey, man, you need to try these HDs. This is around the time they went from 1,500 watts RMS, 3,000 max, to 2,000 watts RMS and 4,000 max. Bob had just changed the power on them at this point. Okay, let me keep going. And then there was a certain guy that had a little audio shop somewhere in some other state. Well, when I finally tested, did an SPL test, I was still in the 53s and I got upset. So now I wanted to, Don, I was over in area Don's house. He's like, I went over there for a simple cookout. Had a nice outfit on and everything, tennis shoes and everything. Don, this is how serious we were back in Team Imperial back then. Don was like, we could tear that out and try to do a side port, man. I was like, right now? He's like, there's a Lowe's right up the street. I had one of the teammates' moms drive me up to Lowe's, bought wood, got all my outfit dirty and everything, went in like I had work clothes on. We cut that chamber out, built another one. It sucked. It sounded bad. I drove all the way home, falling asleep behind the wheel, almost wrecked. Got home, tore it right back out. And I moved forward. I ended up moving forward and taking those. So, before we built that chamber, I was moving ahead of myself. Before we did that, what we did was he did have a old scope. Don had an old scope. We put a test CD in one of those them frequency CDs, man. One of them where they damn, why am I getting brain fog? Where you throw it in and it goes from like that sweep. We threw a sweep in on volume 15 once the Sharks, went in. I got more Sharks. What I did is we took two of the 18s that was still good, built a box of them. I mean, not build a box. We put them in a chamber. The chamber ended up being too big. But we did the chamber. We put 2 Sharks on each coil. Ran a sweep and smoked them just like that. And so I got mad. I got on social media. I started bashing Bob because those speakers are supposed to be all this and all that. And they burned up on me. You know what I mean? And I had to take them back to the wholesale house. And all this stuff started. And this one guy came up on there and started taking up for Bob. And started coming at me talking about, you clipped them. I was like, but they were clean. You clipped them. This is when I first got cool with Devin Crawford. Devin asked me, he's like, what was your box rise? It was 1.1 ohm at that time. Then Devin started telling me at the last World Finals how many guys was using Sharks and winning World Finals, and guys were mad. I was like, oh, they were bashing those amplifiers but getting beat by them. I was like, that's funny. And me and Devin got real cool. And before he ended up getting, 24 of them? He ran 24 Sharks. I ended up running 16. My teammate Don Ward had ran 10 of them and did his first 60 in case he forgot. He did his first 160 with 10 of them in his truck. And while I was doing the 55s. Yeah, that type of thing. So I was going through that. I ended up blocking old boy. I blocked him. Because that argument was ongoing. You clipped the subs. What did he say? He was like, he's stupid. He kept saying stupid. I walked away from my computer for 2 days, and that argument was still going on my post 2 days later. I went back on the post. He's stupid. That was just stupid. Those are 1,500 watt arm. I was like, no, they're 2,000 watts. No, they're not. I'll sell them. I was like, he changed them, idiot. You should know better because you sell them. And he kept going on and on and on. And then I started calling him names. And why are you calling me names? I was like, because you're on my post saying he's stupid for hours. You know what I mean? And then I'm going at it with other guys and yada, yada, yada. Man, you're bashing a company because you clip, you know what I mean? I just started blocking cats, man. I tried to even make amends with him, and he was big-headed. So I blocked him. I was like, you're a big-headed dude. I just blocked him. He's been blocked ever since. You get it? So, these get down, people. These things get down. This sound-wise, bro, they sound good, man. They're saying something. They sound excellent. You know what I mean? I would say that they're the best sounding amplifier that I've ever used. Ever. You know what I mean? These things get down from the gate, bro. I drove in this hot weather like an hour and a half pounding, and when I touched them, when I opened up this trunk, those highs amps shut off. They got overheated and shut off, and I had to turn the fan on to cool them down. They shut off. These things was like, they just took out the refrigerator and then sat on the kitchen table for about an hour. I touched them, man, and they was cool to the touch. Warm, but not lukewarm. Like we were turned on warm. You know what I mean? They should have been hotter than what they was from them being in this hot-ass trunk at 80-something degrees outside, man. I'm impressed with these, man. Now I need to see what numbers I do. They're efficient. I know they're efficient because they made them to be efficient at a half ohm and all of that. So they wasn't getting hot or none of that. That's what I'm talking about, man. I'm going to tag you in this, Robbie. These things are nice. I like them, man. Hopefully you know, I can continue to run them. But anyway, that's that for you guys that's curious about these. All right, so I will be testing and clamping them Sunday at work. I mean, at States. Hopefully, I don't run into no problems. Hopefully, I don't smoke no subs, because these things is ready to blow them speakers up out the box. They sound good. They pound. They pound. They pound. Whenever I demo them for some of you, when I demo for you, you'll see. Now, y'all asking me how these sound over the slaps. The slaps sound good, bro. I told y'all I don't have nothing against them. Them are some excellent. If you're running them at 1 ohm, they're going to do you great. I ran them below 1 ohm. I did 0.7, but technically it was 0.6. Technically, because that fluke, it fluctuates. So 0.7, 0.6. I got 7,672 watts burping. I mean, off of my Kenwood deck, you know, they were making those speakers sing. Y'all saw the demo of me demoing them. They got down. I mean, but these are another monster. That's all. These are another monster. That's all. They're a whole nother monster. Just so y'all know, I just wanted to tell y'all. So I got 2 days of demoing these. And, you know, boom. Let's see what happens on Sunday. You know what I mean? And yada, yada, yada when I throw out some demos. All right. So that's your answer. Okay. And hopefully the sound don't cut off on Facebook again. But y'all always can go on my YouTube channel, subscribe. Sodda Pop Kid. With 2 D's and soda, all capitals, one big whole word put together. Subscribe. Go watch my channel, man. You can watch all these videos in their entirety. Just scroll on down and watch what you feel like watching, because I'm going to post this up on there as well. Okay? So, Sodda Pop Kid. This is after I just came back from street beating. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and peace, people.